All right, y'all, what's good? We're back with those late night reviews. I know I did a series of that a while ago and I stopped, but it's going to start back up, starting with this video here. And I got to finish off that Mortal Kombat series I did, reviewing all the movies. I got one more. Forgot which one it was, but I'll look into it. But anyway, tonight we're here to talk about Abigail, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. One of them. Abigail looked like it was going to be a fun horror hide and seek kind of movie. So I went in the theater with expectations of having a good time, not really be on the edge of my seat with the horror. I'm just, before we get into the actual review, I was going to let you know what I felt going into it. Seeing it, I was like, oh, this is going to be a good time. Is there going to be a little, like, little blood and gore, some jump scare moments? Sure, but when you look at the trailer, it's like, oh, this actually could just be a fun time at the movies. And I must say, it is. It really is. It's nothing over the top where it's like, oh, what's the mystery? Like, what's that? They do have some surprising factors in it, but nothing like out of your seat, like, oh my goodness. It literally is what it entertains on the trailers, which is just a fun, good time. Well, for us, the viewers, not really for the people in the movie outside of Abigail, but who, by the way, shout out to her. I don't know the kid's name, but the kid who played Abigail. The movie was in a way, the movie was riding on her, meaning her performance was going to make or break the movie. Now, it doesn't mean the rest of the cast was bad, which is something I do want to get into, but with the main person being Abigail, who we see in the trailer is a vampire. So, small story, with no spoilers, because I'll just explain what was shown in the trailer. Six professional criminals are hired by a certain individual to capture and hold hostage a certain child whose father is very rich, and if they hold it for a certain amount of time, they'll hold it for ransom, get $50 million. Lo and behold, this whole thing was a trap for these six people, and Abigail is not who we think she is. And she turns out being a vampire with also another secret that I will not spoil for y'all. I'll just give y'all the gist of what shows in the trailer. And it's a nice, fun ride. It's in one spot for most of the movie, and they did it well. Let me say the directing, atmosphere, casting, it all was well. I usually will have an up and down. To be real, I don't have a down for the movie. The reason I'm saying for the movie is because it's unfortunate. One of the actors, he played Dean, if I remember his name correctly in the movie, but he also was in Euphoria. His name was Angus Cloud, if I said the name right, and he passed away last year. It was unfortunate, but to see him in this movie, rest in peace to him. It did hit me a little bit seeing him because I did watch Euphoria. I thought he did a great job in that show. But the movie in itself, with the characters and all, everybody played their role well. One of the things that I always have to pay attention for is seeing who is the one when you have a cast like this, or a nice group of people in one movie together for basically all the movie. It's usually a moment where there's some that plays their role well, and then some who overdo it, or they're comic relief where they're trying to be funny and they're not funny, or they're being overly dramatic or something like that. No, you can tell the casting director took his or her time choosing these certain people, and everybody did their role well. There's not one person for the role they played I was like, oh, okay, can you get him or her off the screen? No. Outside of Abigail, everybody else did their job too. Like I said, Abigail did hers. Like, she just told her, but I believe her name is Melissa. She also starred in Scream 5 and 6. She did well. The chemistry between her and Abigail, before I get into that, I just want to say, to wrap that up, everybody did their job well, and that was refreshing for me to see. I didn't have to sit there and cringe like, oh, too much, or this person trying to be funny is not funny. No, they had their comedic relief moments, but they didn't overdo it because they understood where they're at. The comedic relief moments were situations where it was funny to us, but their reaction wasn't trying to be funny. It was just a situation that happened, and their reaction made us, the viewers, laugh. I like that because, come on, the vampire's trying to kill you. You're not there trying to be a comedian. But some moments was written well for the cast where it made you laugh at certain parts. Anyway, so I must say the chemistry between Abigail and I can't remember Melissa's character name. It was heartfelt, and it had some good heartfelt moments in here. Had a good message that went with it. Now, the message didn't overshadow the movie because, as I always say, make the movie for movies like this, especially make it entertaining. And there's nothing wrong with throwing a little message in there as long as it doesn't overshadow the movie. And it didn't do that. The message was just enough to where you like, but also the chemistry between Melissa and Abigail, it was believable. It was believable. It was like, okay, you could tell the actresses spent a little time with each other before playing the role. And like I said, back to the girl who played Abigail, she did a great job. You know, especially for her age. I think she was like 12 when this movie was made. To have to switch from an innocent little girl to creepy, savage. I mean, because she would have some savage moments, vampire. It's not easy to do. And she did it and you believed it. And so shout out to them. But the setup was great. The movie had other agendas in it that I did not expect when you see the trailer. And it was a good thing. I'm talking about like other plot points, I should say, where the ending did not happen the way I expected it. Like when you see this trailer, well, for me, I can say, I usually can put an ending together. I'm like, okay, if it's going to be the same kind of movie we've seen before, it could end like this or it could end like that. Honestly, I came out surprised at how the ending was. It was good, and I'm very happy for it. I was surprised, and happy about it. So yes, is it something worth seeing? I would say so. I mean, obviously, it's R-rated. The blood and gore is there. Hiccups. But the blood and gore is there. So for those, if you're weak in the stomach with that, it don't show a lot of like intestinal stuff, but it is a lot of blood moment. It reminds me of Evil Dead Rise, where there was just a lot of like guts that coming out. Like it's a lot of that horror factor. It had its moments, but it wasn't something to where you're looking like how someone's told me there's some movies they watch and then when they go home they think they're in a little corner in the shadow, somebody's about to come out. It ain't that kind of scary movie. It had its jump scares, and by the way, the jump scares was just enough. They didn't overdo the jump scares and it worked, but it was more of jump scares as in a vampire, I'm coming to get you, and in a little house. So it wasn't they didn't overdo it, and the horror aspect wasn't there that much. Like you sit there and you're shaking because you don't know what's about to happen. The only thing that would make you nervous is you don't know what Abigail's going to be up to next. But it didn't have like a conjuring, like the spirits or, it was nothing that, in my opinion, would stick to you when it comes to horror. So for those who are, they want to have a good time but don't want to be scared out of their mind, it's not that kind of movie, in my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion. So yeah, there that is. But yeah, overall, great movie, fun time at the movies. I would say this is the era I'm in right now. I just want to have a good time at the movies, and Abigail, I believe, is that. I don't want to share too much because I don't want to spoil. There is, outside of the trailer, there is some other plot points, like I said before. So I don't want to talk too much and it slip. But yeah, definitely a must see for me. I would say out of 10, I would put Abigail at a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. I don't usually do ratings like this, but I'm going to start doing that. So out of 10, I will put 7.5 to 8, between that, out of 10. So let's just round it up. Just say 8 out of 10. It was a good movie. It's a movie I'm looking forward to buying on DVD or Blu-ray. So I will be doing that. So yeah, that's another thing. If I buy the movie, then it was that good. It's rewatchable. Even though you know what's going to happen after, the first time seeing it. Like I said, it's not one of them Sixth Sense kind of moments to where after you see the ending, you're like, oh, wow, you're shocked, but you don't have to see it again because you already know what the mystery is. No, it's a fun catch me if you can, a vampire playing tricks on her prey with a little twist, with a little bit. So anyway, that's all. I just wanted to share my review, and yeah, let me know what y'all think. If y'all seen it, let me know in the comments what y'all think about it. And yes, to answer your question, I would see it if I was you. It definitely go support this movie. I think we need to support more movies in theaters. And in my opinion, I've said this before, but in the last few years, horror movies been on the rise. They've been on the rise. You actually have people that take their time. For the most part, they get great casting. Because for someone who watched a lot of horror like me back in the day, the casting was rough. Well, some projects, and for the most part. But for the last few years, almost every movie I've seen, in the horror genre has been really good for the most part. And Abigail's one of them. So yeah, have a good time. Definitely enjoy it. It's you'll come out having a good time with it, in my opinion. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll check you later.